most of you all realize or know, maybe not, that I had a center for 11 years called the Palm Beach Center for Living. It was in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And very similar to this, but we had a lot more community outreach as a part of our mission. So as a result of that, we had lots of great people like we do here come and visit. Well, at that time, we were just trying to figure out somewhere around 1994 and 1995 when Armand and the Symptoms, that was his group in the beginning, and he and his friend Don came and performed many times for us. We had a blast. And then his whole world was rocked when he met this beautiful angel, Angelina, and she is an angel for sure. And so these two have been together performing for how many years?
16.
That's hard to believe, 16 years. We're getting old. And that's hard to believe. So anyway, you all are in for such a treat. But Armand is an award-winning songwriter, an inspirational speaker whose enthusiastic, that's an understatement, presence inspires us all to love life passionately. Angelina's angelic and heart-opening voice draws from many languages. She was classically trained at Indiana University and formerly with Epcot Center. They are an international set of performers using song, story, and humor to remind us now to open our hearts and remember that we are meant to experience heaven on earth. So with that, I'm going to turn it over and give you guys a big warm namaste welcome.
So yes, Reverend Charlotte is one of the ministers that allowed me to speak at a church in 1997 and 98 when I was first starting, just coming out of bars at 4 o'clock in the morning and then trying to be a speaker on Sunday morning, and many were reluctant in those days. But the 19th of, actually the 17th of November was my 20-year anniversary of full-time music ministry and leaving the bars. So anyway, thank you. You were part of it. All right. So we are going to celebrate big today. One of the things I love about Louisiana, which is where I grew up, I'm a Cajun, is that when people go home to heaven, they have a celebration for them. Lots of music, lots of excitement. It's hard for us here. It's an awesome place for them, and so we honor that joy for them going home. And so this is a song that was inspired by a movie we saw called The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Has anyone seen it? It's a wonderful movie. Do you remember how? Really, the young innkeeper could have been a Namaste Center kind of guy because he was positive and he always focused on goodness and oneness and divine order. And when anybody would ever complain to him, he would always say the same thing: everything will be okay at the end. And whenever they would say, yeah, but it's not okay now, he'd go, must not be the end. And so that is our message to you today. And we're going to sing a song that I wrote. I couldn't get those words out of my head. So very simple. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. When I Googled that phrase, the author that came up on Google was John Lennon. So go figure. Here we go. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's your part. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Let's sing it again now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Look at the sha-la-la-la now. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, After every night, a brand new day, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Just the audience.
Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
Oh, this sha-la-la-la again. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change, but that's okay because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end yet. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. So if you don't like the weather, wait a day. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. Look at your hands, man. But this is the end. So now we are going to lead you in a pre-meditation chant. The words are very simple. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. We'll sing that several times. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. Peace I am, peace in every moment, peace in every moment, peace I am. So we invite you now to quiet the mind. You may close your outer eyes. Maybe bring your attention to the breath. And see yourself now breathing in more peace. And along with peace, we can bring in more trust. As we let go of fear, often called false evidence appearing real, we make room for more faith, feeling all right in the heart. As we quiet the mind, as we quiet the voices in our heads, we begin to hear more clearly the still small, almighty, powerful voice of our higher selves, God. Allow the music to take you now on your very own sacred journey. A journey into the peace and faith of God. Gently now melt into the silence. Very gently now, begin to bring your attention to this time, this place, this sacred sanctuary of gathering, where we come to comfort each other and remember who we are. To remind ourselves and others that we are eternal beings of light. And that our true divine nature is love. Thank you, Great Spirit. And so it is. Namaste. Angelina will now lead us in singing the Lord's Prayer, and I will speak the Aramaic. Abund Washmaya. Meet Gadash Ashmach. Tete Malkuta. Nechwai the Savinach. Washmaya, O Baracha. Haulan Lachma, Desukanan Yamana. Washwoklan Halbain, Aikana Dafanan, Shwaken El Hayabain, Ula Talan, El Nisyona, El Apasan, Min Bisha. Laki Makuta, Ohala Utish Bokta, La Alam Almi. We invite you to breathe those words in deeply. Words of support. Words to remind us that we were meant to experience heaven on earth right here, right now. And so it is. Amen. One of the most beautiful things to me about the quadrinity, body, emotions, spirit, thoughts, is that in the quadrinity, we get to honor all of it. The spiritual is nice, but the human aspect is important as well. One of the things that happens often if we move too far spiritual without taking our bodies with us, we become ungrounded, and we tell people that they're not allowed to feel their feelings except for a certain amount of time. There's some kind of a rule. And we know the body and the emotions don't work with rules. It's all in our time that works for us. So as we breathe in our knowing that all is well spiritually, sometimes our physical body and our emotional body is not ready there to go there yet. And not only is that okay, it's recommended. Very recommended. For if we move too quickly into our intellect and our bodies, into our intellect and spirit, our inner children react, and they will get our attention. I believe that unfelt pain watches infomercials late at night. And it buys workout equipment. And when it finally gets to be felt, it's mighty and it's angry. So today we will breathe in the quadrinity and love it all. So our message this morning, one of our favorite messages, is always the message we give when we first go into a church or a center, is an attitude of gratitude. So we will be talking about the turbocharging power of finding gratitude in our lives. So raise your hand if you're experiencing us for the very first time today. Good heavens, that's like 80%. Okay. So fasten your seatbelts. You've just entered a place of love, a dimension beyond time, a dimension beyond space. You have entered the Namaste zone. And in the Namaste zone, we follow a different set of phenomena than the common folk. In the common world, we are taught if you have something and you share it and give it away, you end up with less. But in the Namaste zone, we know that if you have something and you share it and you give it away, you end up with
More.
wow. There will not be a quiz, but that was good. Kind of like an ancient Aboriginal tool known as the boomerang. Ideally, the boomerang is supposed to go out and come back. What do you call it if it doesn't come back? A stick, lost, broken, yes. And that does happen from time to time with these human instruments. They don't always work. If you're over 55, you've experienced some of that yourself with your human instrument. It doesn't always work the way it did. By the way, this is the AARP tour. So, but spiritual law is never broke. It's never lost. It's never a stick. It's always a boomerang. What we put out always comes back to us in some way, shape, or form. Now, there's good news and not so good news. Let's get to the good news first. It works with love, money, kindness. It works with support. It works with nurturing people when they're going through something. The more you go through that with someone and help them, the more comes back to you. Here's the not so good part. It also works with anger and prejudice and judgment. Whatever we put out always comes back to us in some way, shape, or form. Now, When I first learned that deeply, I started getting into New Thought in 1984, and I really started to get it. It scared me, because I looked at my life and I go, oh my God, what have I been putting out? Not good stuff. And then I got hyper vigilant, scared of making sure I said every single word. I even did it with Reverend Charlotte today. My old hypervigilance, I'll tell you, I don't know if you noticed it, Reverend Charlotte, but here's what I did. I said, tomorrow night, Angelina will be tearing down the equipment while I teach the flute class. You know, making two birds unliving with one stone. Because I used to be afraid of using the word die, because I thought if I said die, it would happen to me. I was hypervigilant on every single word I said, to make sure that every energy I put out. That makes you very uptight all the time. You've been around those people. They're like, cancel clear, cancel clear. But I wanted to be perfect. You know, I grew up Catholic. We were taught you were either Jesus or you were worm. It was just, you know, nothing else. So I wanted to be like Jesus. I didn't want to be a worm. I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to have the Eckhart Tolle moment. I wanted to wake up one morning and be completely disidentified from my ego. Didn't happen. Ego, alive and well. So one day I was kind of praying and meditating. I was saying, when am I going to get it? And the message I got was, don't be so hard on yourself. You don't have to get it. All you have to do is stay grateful and create something that will bring you back into alignment with truth every time you step out. Kind of like your navigator, redirecting route. We have folks from England. It's awesome. We used to program our navigator to speak with an English accent. Make the first authorized U-turn. We loved that. We were just so much happier.
We brought our English one with us in the hard car.
Oh, man.
Probably got a Brooklyn accent, right?
I mean, it's awesome.
Yo, bro.
Yeah. So we like that. Okay. So the message I got was, how can I keep my vibration high without being hyper-vigilant? And let me tell you what happens. You start being hyper-vigilant on yourself, and you start correcting everybody else around you too. And let me tell you something. You want to lose friends? Start correcting them. So what came to me was this word, gratitude. Rhymes with ratatouille. A gratitude says that every time you complain about anything, all you have to do is say two things about that situation that are positive. So the complaint might be, wow, I didn't know it was I left Orlando, I didn't know it was gonna be 31 degrees here a week later. Do you see what I've just done? I've complained about weather. How insane is that? There's not much you can do about it. But then I can say, but I'm grateful to be in this beautiful place, and I'm glad I'm not in Minneapolis. So do you see what happened? Now you're laughing, but the reason you're laughing is because it feels good to think positively and be grateful. So what you do is you walk one step back by complaining about something, and then you take two steps forward. You're actually further in alignment of joy than you were before you complained. Okay, so I'll give you another example. I can't believe that jerk just cut me off. And I'm glad I'm not in the car with him. And I'm glad she didn't hit me. Again, you're laughing, but you see what you've done is you've taken a complaint, which lowers your vibration, and then you said two positive things around it that raise it back up again.
And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You know, you say the negative thought or words, and then you say, and I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful for that. And then it just starts to become very, very natural.
The and word becomes very important. You just throw the and in. And sometimes I will do something and Angelina will go, you might want to do a gratitude right now. and vice versa.
And sometimes I'm not able to do a gratitude because I'm in some kind of doo-doo. And so I'll say to Armand, please help me, start me out with the gratitude. I just can't do it right now.
So I'm going to encourage us all to do what we can whenever we complain, rather than be hyper vigilant, make sure we never think a negative thought or say a negative word, that we just go, oh, that was my pain body. And then say 2 things that are awesome. You can do that with people too. Let's say you say something very negative to somebody. You can immediately say, oh my God, I'm so sorry I said that. I am so glad that you were here today. And then you can think to yourself, if it's somebody really that's really difficult to be around, you can think to yourself, I'm so grateful I don't spend more time with them. That'll make you feel better too. Okay. All right, so we're going to sing our song, Love is a Boomerang, and your words are, love is a boomerang. Love is a boomerang. Everybody sing with me. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's going to come right back. Love is a boomerang. Hear the words that set you free. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's going to come right back. Love is a boomerang. Everybody sing with me. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's going to come right back. Love is a boomerang. Hear the words that going to set you free. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's going to come right back. Give it, listen, everybody. What's burning in my soul is something you can use. Going to make you healthy, safe, and whole. If you read it in the Bible, it's in the golden rule. You don't need to go to the land down under to find this magic tool. Because love is a boomerang. So is money, so is kindness. Love is a boomerang. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Love is a boomerang. So is anger, so is judgment. Love is a boomerang. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. When you wake up in the morning, try a different attitude. Instead of drinking coffee, fill yourself with gratitude. Try loving everything you see, it'll change the way you live. There ain't no way to outlive God, I guarantee you. Love is a boomerang. So is money, so is kindness. Love is a boomerang. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Love is a boomerang. So is anger, so is judgment. Love is a boomerang. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Love is a boomerang. I feel an old-fashioned revival coming down. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's gonna come right back. Love is a boomerang. Can I get an amen? Amen. Okay. Love is a boomerang. Help me, Jesus. Woo! Love is a boomerang. So is money, so is kindness. Love is a boomerang. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Love is a boomerang. So is anger, so is judgment. Love is a boomerang. If you give it away, it's gonna come right back. Give it away, it's gonna come right back. Can't give it away, it's gonna come right back. Thank you. I feel the power in the house today. See, I grew up in Louisiana, and I went through a lot of different religions. I started off Catholic. I'm 3/4 Catholic. Lake Charles, that's very close. You know Lafayette?
Yeah, from New Orleans.
Well, let me tell you, Shan. Guarantee. So, and now when I grew up in Lake Charles, a lot of my time I was spent as a Pentecostal. And there was some enthusiasm in the Pentecostal churches. And one of the things that I got, that I took with me when I got into the human potential movement spirituality, was that spirituality was not a Sunday thing. It was a 24/7 thing that should be a part of every aspect of your life. And that's the way they were